Hi, in this video we're going to quickly see some important points about the limbic system. An important question that have been previously asked is the functions of limbic system, right? So we'll see how we should approach that question. So you can start your answer with an introduction regarding the structure of limbic system. So we know that limbic system consists of a limbic cortex as well as the subcortical structures. The limbic cortex consists of the orbitofrontal cortex, the subcallosal gyrus, then the singular gyrus, the parahippocampal gyrus, as well as the uncus. So this is the limbic cortex. Now we've got some subcortical structures also, which include the hypothalamus, the portions of basal ganglia, anterior nucleus of the thalamus, the septum area, paraolfactory area, amygdala, as well as the hippocampus. So these are the structures that form the limbic system. And we also know that it's called limbic because the term limbic means ring. So this forms a ring-like structure. So that is why it is called the limbic system. Okay. So in the introduction, you can just write the basic parts as well as the structure of limbic system. Now moving on to the functions of limbic system. The major functions are it's involved in learning and memory, in integration of olfactory, visual and auditory signals, in motivation, in behavior, as well as control of autonomic functions. So you can remember this functions by the mnemonic limbic. See, LIMBC. Okay. So we'll see each one by one. So first one is learning and memory. How is limbic system associated with learning and memory? So here the key player is actually a hippocampus. See, hippocampus is involved in consolidation of memory. That means it consolidates short-term memory to long-term memory. Okay, and this occurs mainly by means of a circuit called paper circuit. So we'll see how that circuit goes. So the information from the hippocampus is passed on to the mammillary body via the fornix, and from the mammillary body it synapses on to the anterior thalamus by the mammillothalamic tract, and from the anterior thalamus the information is passed on to the cingulate gyrus, and from there back to the hippocampus. So this is the circuit and it is called the paper circuit. Okay. So it is by this circuit that the hippocampus is able to consolidate memory, that is convert to short-term memory to long-term memory, right? Now you can remember this paper circuit by the mnemonic match. How's this the mnemonic? M for mammillary body, A for anterior thalamus, AT for anterior thalamus, C for cingulate gyrus, and H for hippocampus, so that you will not forget the order of this paper circuit. So the next function is integration of olfactory, visual and auditory signals. So which part of the limbic system is involved in olfaction and visual and auditory signals? It is the amygdala. See, when we study the olfactory pathway, we know that the olfactory impulses are conveyed to the amygdala. So it is concerned with the olfactory stimuli. Also, the amygdala receives information from all parts of the limbic cortex and also from the neocortex, especially from the auditory and the visual association areas. So since it receives information about all the three, that is olfactory, auditory and visual, it is able to integrate them. Okay. So the integration of olfactory, visual and auditory signals occurs in the limbic system. The next function is motivation. How is limbic system involved in motivation? See, in our body we've got a reward center, which is mainly the near the median forebrain bundle, especially the lateral and the ventromedial nucleus of the hypothalamus. So there is a reward center. And we've also got a punishment center, which is a central gray area surrounding the aqueduct of sylvius. So because of these two areas, this can actually motivate us as well as change our behavior. Like for example, if we know that we've got a reward for something, we'll do that particular task more, right? So like that, limbic system is involved in motivation. So the next important function of the limbic system is behavior. So how did we know that limbic system is involved in behavior? See, when scientists found out that destruction of the neocortex and ventromedian hypothalamus in septal nuclei resulted in a rage response to minute stimulus. Rage means uncontrolled anger. So when there was destruction of some parts of limbic system, they found that the animal responded as rage. Secondly, they found out that there's a fear center which is located in the hypothalamus and the amygdala. And also they found out that bilateral lesions of amygdala nuclei led to greater placidity. Placidity means calmness. So from this we can understand that all our emotions are related to the limbic system. So that any lesion in any part of the limbic system will produce its own difference in the behavior. Okay. And another important role of limbic system is in sexual behavior. All control of sexual behavior is by the limbic system. So if there is any lesion in the limbic system in specific areas, it can cause significant change in the sexual behavior. Okay. Now the next function is control of autonomic functions. So we know that the hypothalamus has a major role in autonomic functions, and that is why it is called the head ganglion of ANS. Okay. And also there is the autonomic component of emotional responses are controlled by the amygdala. So there are two important regions of the limbic system which is involved in autonomic functions. Okay. Now for some additional scoring points, you can also write some applied aspects, like for example, if there is bilateral removal of hippocampus, it can lead to anterograde amnesia. Why? Because we said that hippocampus is involved in memory. So if there is a lesion in the hippocampus, it can lead to anterograde amnesia or memory loss. Okay. And another syndrome is Clover-Blucy syndrome. Clover-Blucy syndrome occurs when there is bilateral ablation of the amygdala. So when an animal was bilaterally ablated of the amygdala, they found that there was significant change in the behavior of that animal. It became very hyperactive, it became very curious, it started eating everything that it found. Like if even things that normally monkeys don't eat, they started eating it when they had this lesion. And also they showed a very different sexual behavior. So that is about Clover-Blucy syndrome, right? So to summarize, in limbic system, we've just mentioned briefly about the structure of the limbic system and also the functions, and we've learned two mnemonics, one for the paper circuit, that is match, and fun for the functions of the limbic system. We've studied the mnemonic limbic, LIMBC. Okay. So I hope you'll know how to write an answer when such a question comes for the exam. Thank you.